Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be my update to my project pan. So this is a rolling style completionist project pan. I just keep going until I finish these products. I don't start new at the beginning of the year. So even though we're in December, this is not a finale. I will continue all of these products in January. So if you're interested to see my progress, I'll be talking about usage. I will be throwing up progress photos, all of that good information. Then make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around. But with all that, let's just get into it. All right, so really quickly before we get into the update on these products, I did just want to give a little bit of self-promotion. I've been focusing on YouTube primarily as my main platform for quite some time, but I did want to remind you that I do have an Instagram. I will have it up on the screen here as well as down below in the description box if you want to follow me. I will just say that it's going to be less makeup content and more personal towards me. You'll get kind of like a glimpse into my life. You'll see a lot of dogs, what I do day to day, just some fun stuff, but I am trying to grow that platform a little bit as well. And since this is my most popular video on my channel, I wanted to just remind you to follow me if you're not already and you want to see a little bit more personal stuff about me. But after that, let's just get into the update. I have around 14 products, I think, that I update you on. It's basically a full face of products, and I am trying to complete all of them except for two, which we will get to, but once those are out, I'm not gonna roll something in its place. So let's just start off with primer, and this is just a travel size. This is 15 grams. It's the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Primer. This got rolled in last month, so it's only been in the project 1 month so far, and I've used it 4 times for a total of 4 times since rolling it in. I don't love this actually at all. I would think that I would because I don't love a hydrating primer. I actually thought this was a hydrating primer when I brought it in because I'm trying to get the hydrating primers out of my collection, but this is actually very mattifying once you use it, and it is an interesting product. I could see a lot of people really liking this, but for me, it's kind of gripping and mattifying at the same time. I find that it makes my makeup look a little bit heavier than what I like. I am wearing it today. Everything that I'm wearing is always listed in the description box below, but I don't know. I'm not loving this. I only used it 4 times in a month. I think that says everything about what I feel about this product. Luckily, it is a small size. I think what I'll need to do with this is just wear this on my no makeup days where I want my face to look a little bit more mattifying, not too glowy, and just a little bit more blurred, but that's about it. When I go in with products on top, it just is really gripping, like especially my cream bronzer. I notice I can't get a good blend like I'm used to. So I don't know. This is an interesting one. I mean, I'm glad I filled it in. It was basically brand new. I maybe used it once or twice before I brought it in, and I'm ready to get this out of my collection. Unfortunately, I did not think this through because this is opaque packaging. I'm not going to be able to see inside this, so we won't really be getting good progress marks. But if I had a guess, I'm like maybe around here. So we'll see how long that takes to finish up, but probably going to be just like low usage in this project, unfortunately. I will keep chipping away at it though. The next one that I have is foundation. So I also brought this in last month. It is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I just have the small 1/2 ounce bottle, and this is one of my oldest foundations. So I really just wanted to get it out, and I had so little left of this product. Here is where I was at when I rolled it in last month. So I've used it 9 times this past month, and I feel like I'm about here. I've been scraping it. As you can see, the line shows a little bit higher, but when I look down, it kind of feels like it's about here. It's starting to sputter. Yes, this was kind of like a gimme, but honestly, I just needed to get this out. If it only takes me 10 more times to use this, and it took me 20 times in this project, but I finished this, that was just the push that I needed to get this out of my collection. A beautiful foundation. I don't love it today with the primer, and that's what's really making me notice that I don't love this primer. But when I use it without the primer, it is so beautiful. I would even consider repurchasing this foundation if I didn't have so many in my collection. It's one that's just, it's a cult classic, and it's withstood the test of time. This is a foundation that's been out for quite some time, and people still talk about it. Highly recommend if you're looking for a luxury foundation. Still probably love the Valentino more. I know I talk about that one a lot. That was the one I had in my project pan before this, but still a really nice one if you're interested in this product. And yeah, I'm hoping next month I'll be able to finish it. I think that I'll be able to, which would be really nice. Like today, it even kind of just started to sputter just a little bit. So it would be nice to just get a foundation out of my collection, honestly. And that's why I decided to choose this. Once I finish this, I'll roll in a full-size foundation so we can kind of have a little bit more fun tracking the progress and stuff. Now we move on to concealer. I have two concealers in this project. One is more of a pot concealer, a spot concealer, however you want to call this. This is the oldest concealer in my collection. Every single month I talk about this because I rolled this in the intro of my project pan in September of 2022. It's been a minute since this has been in the project. I've just been chugging away at it. I know people can pan this a little bit faster, but I do use it as a spot concealer. I don't suffer from acne too often. Like I'll get some here or there and, around my period, but I really don't suffer with acne too much. So I'm not spot concealing. What I mainly use this for is actually redness around my nose. I get really red like here, and I feel like sometimes if I'm wearing a lighter coverage foundation, it doesn't cover it up like I want to. So that's my primary use for this, but let me tell you, it sure does. I've got my money's worth out of this, as I say every single month. So I used it 21 times this last month for a total of 456 times since rolling it into this project. Actually, no, that's incorrect. That came out just as a habit. But the first year that I did Project Pan, I wasn't tracking my usage. So 456 times, and that's a year without track uses. So we're well over the 500 mark. I would even venture to say we're at the 600 mark with this. And I don't think we're slowing down anytime soon. Like, could I get 1,000 uses out of this concealer? I don't know. That seems crazy to think about. I don't know. That seems too high. What do you think? This is what we're looking like. So 456 tracked uses on this, a year without progress. You're seeing my progress photos. I should actually scoot over a little bit so I can pop those up. But I mean, I'm seeing progress month after month now. For the first 2-ish years before I hit pan, I just felt like this was never going to end. I can visibly see progress now, but I mean, we're nowhere close to finishing this. I don't know if mine just refills overnight. No idea, but that's where we're at with this concealer. Then the next concealer I have is more of your traditional concealer, more of like your under eye concealer. I rolled this in September of this year, so it hasn't been in the project that long. It is the Giorgio Armani Power Fabric Concealer, and I have the shade 3. I rolled this in because it is one of my older concealers or oldest concealers. And I really, again, just like want to get out the old things. I'm trying to find that balancing act of getting out old things, but not neglecting my new things. So it was time for this one to come in. I purchased this on the recommendation of Mel Thompson. She loved this concealer so much. And it's a really nice concealer. I've really grown to love using it these past couple of months again. And I did actually have like pretty good natural usage on this. So this past month, I used it 15 times for a total of 33 times since rolling it in. This one's a little bit, it's hard to track. So this is where I put my initial marking. And then this is where I put my mark last month. And this is where I put my mark this month. But honestly, like there's no way I used this much concealer in 1 month in 15 uses. It's just really hard for me to see when I kind of take the wand and, try that like scraping trick of rubbing it against the component. That's, where I could see it. but maybe when I did it the first time, I was incorrect, or the second time, maybe it was more like halfway here. I don't know. And this is just a guess. Quite honestly, I could be lower down here. I can tell that I'm making really good progress on this concealer though. When I take the wand out, less and less product is on the actual wand. It's more staying on the doe foot. So I still think I have quite a few months with this concealer, but it'll be done sooner than I think, which feels really, really good. Now we move on to powder. I have a loose powder here. This is the Lancome Absolue powder. I really just wanted to get this out of my collection. It's a really nice powder, actually. I've grown to love it. I have the shade Ecru Light. It's just so big and bulky. It's 10 grams of product, large, but like also the component is just obnoxiously large. So that's why I decided to work on this. I pulled this in February of this year, so we're not at the year mark yet, but I used it 7 times this past month. Not my best month with this powder. It kind of just depends on how I'm doing my makeup. Like I'm not wearing this today because unfortunately it does have a tint. I wear this more in the summertime when I can make my foundation a little bit darker, or if I want to wear this on its own. It gives a really nice blurred look to the skin. But right now I haven't been wearing it. I've been reaching for my liquid foundation more. So that's why I only have 7 uses. I do have 127 tracked uses since rolling it into this project though. And I don't think that's that bad. I'm happy with the usage that I have. And I'm actually really surprised at my progress. So when I rolled it in, it was pretty much brand new. It had a little bit of usage, but I had it right about here as my marking, and now I'm here. I can make just the teeniest, tiniest progress mark there. You can barely see it, but it was big enough where the line wouldn't blur into each other, so I was happy to put it here. Luckily, this does go down since, you know, it's a circle, so we'll see bigger gaps as it goes down because there's just less product. I feel like I could really finish this in a month or 2 if I put my mind to it, but I also don't want to force it and have like a bad makeup day. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Maybe I just need to forego liquid foundation a few times, or on the days where I'm kind of skipping makeup, really just push myself to kind of just give this a use. That was probably the more realistic route for me. And just put like a little bit of makeup on when I'm feeling like really, really lazy. That's probably the best way I can use this, but I'm really happy with this progress, and I'm happy to probably get this out sooner rather than later, because had I not pulled it into a project, it probably would have just sat in my drawer for the rest of my life. Now for cheek products, I have liquids, well, I have creams and I have powders. So let's talk creams first. The first one being my cream bronzer. So this is the mini Westman Atelier cream bronzer in Biscuit. I rolled this in August of this past year, so it hasn't been in the project, like less than 6 months. I used it 16 times this past month for a total of 49 times since rolling it in. I'm happy with that progress. I use it pretty much every time I do my makeup. Again, like this is a mini, so it's going faster than a full size would, clearly, but still 50 uses, and I still have, I think, about half of the product left. Here's where we're standing. So this was my very first mark when I pulled it in. You can see some of my progress marks. It's not month after month, but I'd say that I've used about half of this, and I'm really happy with that. This maybe has like 4 more months, I'm thinking. I'd like to say 2, but realistically, everything takes longer than you think. So I'm going to say probably 4 months. Here's what it looks like when I roll it all the way down. And overall, just happy with this. It's a nice product. Like I would repurchase it if maybe it was a little bit less expensive, but I don't think it's so mind-blowingly amazing that I could forego how expensive it is for the actual product. I could definitely get something similar for less money, but I'm at least happy I like scratched that itch and got to try this and see what the hype is about. But take it from me, the hype's not worth it. Next up is probably, I think, the second oldest thing that I have in this project. It is my cream trio, but we only have the blush left. So this is the Hourglass Sheer Illume Trio. I rolled this in October of 2023, and I used it 16 times this past month for a total of 286 uses since rolling it into this project. Now, it did have a bronzer, a blush, and a highlight. I finished the bronzer first and then surprisingly finished the highlight second. And now I'm just working on the blush. And this is how much blush we have left. Can you believe it? I did kind of move the product because I had pushed it all down here. I moved it more in the center, so it was just a little bit easier to get to. I think this is my last month with this. I really think by the beginning of the year, I'll be able to roll in. I will probably roll in a new cream blush, and then I will roll in a new cream highlight. I don't know. I'm still deciding because I want to keep this project a little bit lower, and maybe I want to roll some other things out first, but I will definitely at least replace the cream blush once I finish this. And I think I only have one more month with it. 256 times though. So, you know, it's kind of a shame you don't finish all three at the same time. Like if you were to buy this again, it wouldn't last you one full year basically, but I'm really happy with the usage that I got. This was a really nice product. Happy to have like had my chapter with it. I wouldn't repurchase it. This is kind of like a more punchy, bright corally blush, and that's why I use it as underpainting. It's a little bit too bright for me, like on top of the cheeks. So it's okay. I would much rather I would really love to buy one of the Auric cream palettes or the Salt New York ones that Hannah Louise Poston just came out with. I'm going to resist because I have enough creams in my collection. Very, very tough, but I am going to resist. And yeah, it'll just be nice to finally have this done. I feel like I put the work in on this product. Then, like I mentioned in the beginning, I have two products that I'm only trying to hit pan on. I'm not trying to fully finish. So once I reach my goal on these, I won't be replacing them in this project, just to have a fewer amount of things in this project specifically because I feel like 14 is a little bit much. The first one is my blush. So the Pat McGrath blush in Nude Venus. Been working really, really hard on this. I rolled this in October of 2024. So we're past the year mark on this blush so far. And I used it 14 times this past month for a total of 180 times since rolling it into this project. And I'm very happy with the usage. Like I feel like I'm really, really close to pan here. I'm hoping you can kind of, whichever way I can like show you the dip, but it is dipping here. Definitely. You saw my progress photos, so you can see how much work I've really put into this blush. I mean, this blush will last you really long time. It's a nice neutral blush. I'm wearing it today. Goes with everything. That's part of why I picked it to hit pan on. But I would just like to, I think, spread the love in my blush collection go forward and really focus on my creams that could expire more. And that just sounds like a better plan for me. But so once this rolls out, like I said, I won't be replacing it. And I would really like to also just keep this as a completionist project pan. So yeah, I won't be working on another blush, but I'm really happy with the progress on this. My last blush took me 2 years to hit pan on, and I think I'll hit pan in less than 2 years on this one. So that's at least the positive news. The next one is my highlight. So this is a Dior highlight in the shade Holo Pink. It was a limited edition one a very long time ago. I rolled this in February of 2025. So it's been in the project less than a year. And I used it 11 times this past month for a total of 137 times since rolling it in. And for some reason, I hit waffle very, very quickly on this highlight, but I have yet to hit pan. The waffle must be really deep for some reason. So if you use it, I mean, I think I hit the waffle pan 4 months ago, 5 months ago, but I'm not actually at pan. You can just see the waffle imprint. I stare at this every single time I use it. Every time, the past 11 times that I used it this last month, I have looked at it. I have tried to see the pan. There is no pan yet. It's going to come when it's going to come. I'm not going to force it because, like I said, once I do hit pan, I don't plan on rolling another powder highlight in. I'm deciding if I want to roll in my cream highlight once I hit pan on this or once I finish this palette. I haven't decided yet. Let me know your opinion down below in the comments, because it kind of makes sense for me to wait until I hit pan on this because I will finish this first, and then I'll just have a lot of highlight in this project. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. But yeah, still plugging away at this, still using it, still love it. Wearing it today. It's very pretty. It's more on the cool tone side. I'll swatch it for you. But You can kind of get away with wearing it with warm tone looks, I think. It's not so icy that it just looks off. Has these really subtle blue flecks. It's kind of like an iridescent duochrome highlight for people who don't want it to be so obvious. And I think it's really pretty. Also bought this on the recommendation of Mel Thompson. I think she finished like 3 of these. She could finish makeup like no other person that I know. Then we have 5 more products to talk about. These are kind of like my little miscellaneous things that I try to just focus on for categories. So the first one being my setting spray. This is the Flower Beauty Seal the Deal Long Lasting Matte Finish Setting Spray. Rolled this in September of 2025, so it hasn't been in the project that long. And I used it 21 times this past month for a total of 68 times since rolling it in. This was not full when I rolled it in. I'm really trying to just get down to like 2 or 3 setting sprays in my collection, getting them out one by one. And here are my progress lines. So this is where I started. Like I said, it wasn't brand new. And then these have kind of been my markings. I have been using this pretty quickly. I've talked about this. I just feel like I have to use more to really like saturate my face and press the powders down in. I don't love it because it's matte. I do want like a setting spray I kind of use to make my powders not look so powdery. So this isn't really the setting spray I think for me, but it's fine. I'm getting it out. I'm using it. It's working. I think next month I will for sure have this done. I actually thought that I was gonna 100% have this done this update, but surprise, surprise, I do not. I have this much left and I don't think that'll be any problem to finish up. Then I can roll in the next setting spray. Then we have my little sticks. First one being my eyeliner. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury dual liner. It was like a super nude liner, something like that I got in a collection. It has a brown and a nude. I rolled this in also in September of 2025, so has not been in the project that long. Used it 15 times this past month for a total of 45 times since rolling it in. And when I give a usage, it means I used both sides. So 15 times I used the nude side, 15 times I used the brown side. And I do have my little markings for this. Now, I talked about this last update, and again, this is something I want your opinion on, is clearly I'm finishing the brown quicker than the nude. So here's my markings for the brown side. And I'm finishing it about twice as fast as the nude side because I'm able to do like little markings every month. And the nude side, I'm not really able to do any new markings every month. I'm pretty much doing them every other month. Like the first line is when I rolled it in September, and then the second line is when I roll it in November. And this month I couldn't do another line. It makes sense. I'm only doing it on my bottom like waterline. So the thing is, this is the only nude eyeliner that I have in my collection. At first, my goal was to finish this entire pencil, the brown side and the nude side, but I know I'm going to finish the brown side first. And that's kind of my problem categories. I just have a lot of backups of browns and blacks, and I really only need one. It takes me over a year to finish a brown or black eyeliner if I'm really focusing in on it. So there's no reason to have multiples. So I asked last update, should I call this done once I finish the brown side, or should I stick to my original goal, which was using the entire pencil? Because once I use this nude side, I'll need to repurchase a nude eyeliner. And I think I'm going to go with my second plan, which is what most of you agreed on, is once I finish the brown, I'll call this item done and say that I met my goal, and then take this out of the project and use another brown or black. I haven't decided. I usually switch between the two, like brown, and then I'll go to black. So try to get another black eyeliner out of my collection. And then that way I'm not really going through this nude quicker to just try and get it out of the project. I can really just take my time and repurchase a new one once I actually like go through this. It'd be nice to get a physical item out of my collection and like throw this whole thing away, but because it's the only nude in my collection, I don't think that I should try to force it. So that's what I'm going to go with. The goal is changing, but I'm still counting it as like a completionist item. Next, we have lips, and this is my lip liner. It is the Kylie Cosmetics lip liner in Dolce K. I rolled this in July of 2024. It's been in here quite some time. Used it 16 times this past month for a total of 215 times since rolling it in. We have officially surpassed the 200 mark, which is crazy to me. Basically, it takes me a full year to go through a lip liner. And lip liner, I'm looking at it, it's right there in the corner of my eye, is a category I also really need to lower in my collection, and doing one a year is not going to get me there. So don't know what my plan is for that. But here are my progress marks for this. I could make a little bit of a line, but you can see I've put in the work on this. 215 uses is nothing to joke about. Like, here's where we started way back in July of last year. Here's where I'm at now. Again, I feel like I'm putting in the work on this lip liner, but I also kind of thought it was going to go a little bit quicker. I'm hoping that this is like one of the ColourPop lip liners and it doesn't go all the way to the end like some other ones that I've had and maybe ends around here. But even then, like, that would still be another 6 months of lip liner. So let's just wait and see. I don't know. I don't think I would have rolled this in if I knew it was going to take this long to pan. I would have picked a different one that maybe I enjoyed just a smidge more. It's not a bad one, just, I don't know, maybe like one of my Charlotte Tilbury's or Natasha Denona's or something like that. But that's where we're at. I feel confident that I will finish that sooner rather than later. We'll just have to wait and see. The other lip product that I have is just a little mini bullet lipstick. This is the Charlotte Tilbury, I believe the Kissing formula in JK Magic. Just trying to get this shade out for name reasons. And here is what it's looking like. It's starting to look real busted in there. I rolled this in September of 2025, so it's also only been in the project for a couple of months. Rolled quite a few products in September, and I used it 9 times this past month for a total of 23 times, but unfortunately, I cannot make a new mark. The line has stayed. I maybe could make like a teeny tiny one, but I think it would bleed into my line. So this is where I started, right here, and I've only made that much progress. I chose a mini lipstick because bullet lipsticks are really hard to pan. I've never pulled in a bullet lipstick into my project pan, so I thought, let's start small with a mini, see how long it takes me. I think it's going to take me longer than I want it to. Here's what it looks like rolled all the way down. But I believe that when this was brand new, it went under like the tube anyways. It wasn't like it just reached the top there. But yeah, I keep using this with the lip liner. I have a gloss on top. I'm wearing it today. I still find it a little bit mattifying and thick. I don't love this formula now that I've used it quite a few times. I only really like it with a gloss on top. I think it just emphasizes my lips a little bit too much when I'm not wearing a lip gloss, so I don't super love it, but I'm trying to get some use. It's a nice nude. I mean, it goes with everything, but I will be happy when this is done. And then I might go back to a lip gloss because I don't know if I have the panning energy in me to work on a full-size bullet lipstick. I just don't know if I can do it. And then the very last product I have to talk about is my fragrance. I do try to pull a fragrance into this project just so I can really work on my fragrance collection as well, as it is very extensive. And while I love to collect the bottles of fragrance, I need to also use the fragrances. So the one that I chose this time is the Dolce Gabbana The Only One. This was not full when I rolled it in. I rolled it in October of 2025. So again, been in the project like a few months now. I used it 22 times since rolling it in for a total of 36 times since this project. And here is where I'm at. So here's where I was when I rolled it in, then last update and now this update. Making pretty fast progress on this. I will say that I'm not sparing with this fragrance. I do kind of, maybe go heavy-handed. To some people, a lot of my fragrances are just on the older side, so they fade a little bit faster, so I'm using a little bit more. Or maybe I just have a really terrible sense of smell. It could be a combination of the two, but I find that it fades a little bit faster because of its age. And because of that, I feel like maybe I use, I'm not using 1 or 2 spritzes. I'm using maybe like 3 or 4 every time that I use it. So it will go a little bit faster. My guess is that I have like 3 months of this, which would be perfect because this is more of a winter scent to me. And if I finish it like through December, January, February, that puts me like around February-ish that I would finish this fragrance, which then puts me at the perfect position to bring in a spring fragrance, and that'll make me very happy. If this is not done, like this is one of the only ones where I'm kind of wondering if I should do a seasonal refresh, but I think I'm going to stick it out because this is so close to being done. If it was a full size, or if it was completely full, I might have considered it, but I think I can power through it. This was the large bottle, like the 100 milliliters. So the next one that I pull in for spring, it might be a full size, but more on the 1.7 ounces or something like that. I don't know. I have not decided which one I'm going to pull yet. I'm going to just keep focusing on this one. Really like this scent though. Highly recommend it. I have loved most of Dolce & Gabbana's fragrances that I've tried. It was one of the first designer fragrances that I purchased back when I was like, 18, 19. I remember specifically the original of the one was the first fragrance that I purchased. Have really fun memories. This is a little bit more spicier, but like I said in my last update, for me, this is like a warm, musky, spicy scent for people who don't love ultra warm, spicy scents, because I do prefer like a clean, fresh, floral type of scent. I don't ultra love gourmand scents. I really do kind of like the florals, and this is the perfect kind of just more mature wintry scent that you would think of without being too much. And those are all of my products that we have to talk about. We got through them all of them. Unfortunately, I don't have any roll-ins today, but that's okay. Not every update can be a roll-in update. I think next month I definitely will, with at least this blush, which will make me so happy, and maybe this setting spray. And then maybe this foundation, but it might have to wait for 2 updates. I don't know. We'll just wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. I don't want to predict too much because then you end up being wrong and it takes longer than you think. But that is my update for Project Pan. Let me know all of your thoughts. How long do you think it's going to take me to finish this concealer? Like, does this have another 2 years in it? What are your predictions? Maybe I should do a poll to find out how long, because this has got to be like a world record, right? How long you think it's going to take for me to finish this? I'd love to know your predictions, and maybe whoever gets the closest like wins a prize or something. I don't know. That could be kind of fun. But let me know all your thoughts down below. This is where I'm going to leave you all though. I hope you're having a great one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.